Right. Okay, thanks. Hey Google, restart video.
Hey everyone, Scott Innes, voice actor, Hollywood actor, movie star. Don't believe all that. I'm a legend in my own mind. Hey, you know me better as the voice of some of the most popular cartoon characters in the world. Scooby Dooby Doo, Scrappy Dappy Doo, Puppy Power, Blank and Shaggy Too. And you got the Sullivan Project podcast coming at you right now.
Hey Google, stop. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sullivan Project podcast. And I'm your host, Harold Sullivan. Hey Google, turn your volume to 50%.
I'll be right back.
All right. Hey Google, turn your volume to 50%. Hope everyone had a good couple days or week or whatever since you tuned in last. And been going through some stuff. And a few of my friends as well. Chris has been on lately. He's had diabetes and a few other problems. Yeah, but like I said, this is the only way we get to experience these things here, whether we take it as positive, negative, on the other planes or whatever you believe in, it's not the same as this. So you just have to, 1 second, 1 moment, 1 day, 1 week, just take it as it is. I learned a lot. I learned to be a lot less stressed since I've been going through things lately. And now I got to the point where I just can't let myself feel stress. I can't. I just have to. I gave it all again, basically. To God, I thought I did. I said, take the wheel, but I did it again. And this is what we're going to talk about on this podcast. I'm still trying to get my energy and throat, voice, all that back. Because I was in a few places for a few weeks because of things were going on. But first, I appreciate everybody tunes in. And we're on YouTube and TikTok, Harold Sullivan 78, and we're on Facebook, Harold Sullivan period 35. And you can call the show to 724-513-1472. You can email HS1978. That's HS1978-2015 at outlook.com. And we do yes, audio or video. If you just want to leave comments or rate or share, please follow, all that stuff. When I was in these places and I had nothing, I was just thinking about, I want to get out and do this podcast. I'm hoping to help people, at least one person, if you can help one person, And you never know what you're doing, what you say, how it will affect somebody else. That's why I like to say fight fire with water. It's a syllogism I've come up with. And I've got a bunch of other ones. I'm working on a book about my first 45 years. I went blind 3 years ago. And I was born with an autoimmune disease. I haven't been able to walk since I was a child. And I thought losing my sight was tough, but that gradually happened over a few years. Whereas recently when I had whatever it was that happened, we'll discuss more and check out previous episodes on that. It was kind of all at once, and I just thought I'd never get to, come back to my equipment and my wheelchair. I mean, I really had nothing. And the more you have, the more you're going to miss. So try to limit yourself. I mean, you want to enjoy everything here, experience it, but just remember, if something's taken away, how are you going to feel? Can you do without it? Can you live without it? Is it going to make you more miserable than you were happy when you had it, right? So I got some local news here, sports. I guess the Steelers have re-signed the coach for a couple more years, Tomlin. And I was a Kyler fan, and I just thought Tomlin took over and kind of he's been keeping the team, right above water, if you want to say. But I thought we needed a new change, just like with the Penguins, this coach. But Yarmer Yager, the ex-Penguin, has signed on with the Penguins somewhere in the front office, so that's good. And last year, I believe they retired a number. They had a whole thing for him, a bobblehead night. And a lot of this was started by Phil Book, who used to play for the Penguins, the good old 2-9er, they call him. He does the radio for them now. He went over there and where Yager was at, playing or whatever, a couple of years ago or recently, and talked to Yager and let him know, hey, the fans, Yager just thought there was something the fans didn't want him or didn't like him, and he, you know, initiated this whole thing. So I mean, Yager is one of the best players in NHL history, and he actually might have more points than Gretzky. I believe they said combined in all the major leagues. If you combine NHL and WHL, all the leagues that he's played in, Gretzky played in a league before the NHL, WHA or WHL. So anyway, if you combine all-time points, Yager is like number one ahead of Gretzky. I believe, right behind him. I think he's number one. So, and he's still playing. He's like 50 years old or something. I don't know, 51, 52. Or he was still playing last year. So, but so there's that. And I also want to talk about the Equalizer TV show. I got a chance to listen to an episode of that on the TV when I was in the physical rehabilitation place recently. I just had to listen to whatever they had on the TVs. I mean, there were so many TVs going at once, two TVs in each room out in the hall. The doors was open. I literally could not sleep in the 2 weeks. I just knocked out when I passed out in the chair they had me sitting in. Again, I had no power wheelchair. It's the longest I ever been without my chair since I had it. But whoever had this done to me, when they bring my power chair, they lied and said they'd bring it. They told my family they would, and we had no way to get it there other than me paying for a U-Haul and you know trying to set that all up from this place and ask my sister to bring a wheelchair to U-Haul because we don't have a power van. If anybody can help out with that, I'd appreciate it. I have to get like a public transportation or like a insurances wheelchair vans when I want to go somewhere because we don't have it. Can't afford that kind of vehicle for me. So any help anybody can help with, I appreciate. Please let me know. Message me. I also do psychic readings, astrology, tarot, numerology, crystals. I'm into all that stuff since I lost my sight. Uh, but the Equalizer show is pretty good. It's Queen Latifah. So, and it's. I mean, I'm not sure how long it's been on or how long it's going to last. It's kind of like the Denzel movies, and there was an Equalizer a long time ago, I believe, too. So, but it's neat. She's tough and it's good writing. I mean, I liked it. She's pretty good in certain roles, Queen too. Actually, she's good in comedies, action, and whatever, serious. She don't get a lot of credit. She still doing stuff. So, the Equalizer show. I recommend that. Check it out. And then I just got done with the book Psycho 2, and I started on a Bill Walton book, who died recently, and then when Jerry West, who just heard died. Oh my God. Bill Walton book is called Back from the Dead. Significantly enough, and I heard about Bill Walton passing while I was in this physical rehabilitation place. It's basically a respite where they put you if you don't have anybody to take care of you. And I had people to take care of me. And it's just like I said, this whole incident that happened. I lost a couple of weeks out of my life, which is years to me. Being blind and can't move and sitting there in a chair, not even my own. I didn't have my medical marijuana. That's the only thing I do for pain and anxiety after all the other drugs and alcohol I was on my whole life. And they wouldn't let me have that there. You know, but I snuck a couple gummies in with me, and I made them last a few days, actually in my pants, and which is there, but you know what? I had them in a bag, so. And I haven't vaped and smoked in over 3 weeks, and I'm probably not going to. I told my sister I won't do it in the house anymore. And drugs are not good anyway, so if I can do would get just a couple gummies, yeah. But it's like they didn't want me to have them. And then the pain doctor didn't even try to find me something else similar, which there isn't anything similar to THC. When you have anxiety and you have high pressure and you can't eat, or you have stomach problems or pooping and you have severe pain and you can't sleep, but medical marijuana helps with all that. So, but so yeah, Psycho 2, the book. Let me get back to that. Oh, Bill Walton, yeah, Back from the Dead. I'm listening to that now. It's very good. And Bill Walton has several audio books. But Psycho 2, it's a little bit different than the movie, okay? This picks up years later though, and there's a couple spoilers here. I'm not going to give away all of it. But if John Carpenter, who made Halloween, did not read Psycho or Psycho 2, then you know there's too many coincidences. But there's things in Psycho 2 and Psycho that just you know, of course, Loomis is a name in both. And they actually call Norman the Boogeyman in Psycho 2. There's like this, there's a matchbook in there that's found, and there's clues to, you know, and the doctor knows where he's going, and it's in the Psycho 2, and does all these things. Basically, Norman escapes an asylum, and then there's a movie being made about him. So they think he's showing up to kill the people on the movie set. So it's and then there's a car crash, and they think it's Norman in it. So it's like in Halloween 2, like, and then he's going around stalking, or the killer, I'm going to say, he's going around stalking people similar to Michael Myers in Halloween 2. But and then there's a bunch of other turns and twists in it. So I recommend Psycho 2. There is one more written by Robert Bloch, Psycho House, I believe, who wrote Psycho 1, Psycho 2. And of course, Psycho was based off Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield. And Kane Hodder played him in the movie. He also played Jason and Victor Crowley from Hatchet, and lots of other, horror monsters. So we got that. We got the Equalizer, Psycho 2. I also want to talk about, so all the, well, let's see here. Let me play this audio, and then we'll talk about, see, we got Psycho, we got the book, let me play this audio. Now, this is the APS worker that I recorded while I was in that place, because she was lying to me, the family, so the coordinators, all these other people. If you go back, listen to the previous podcast, you'll hear this whole story. And I got removed from my family for a couple of weeks without my wheelchair, without my hospital bed, without any of my handicap equipment, even my medicine. And every couple of days I kept trying to get out there. I only had 2 sets of clothes, literally, because they said it'd only be a few days. They lied about that to my family. They said something was going on, they needed to investigate. And nothing was found, but we had to go through all this. And they get paid as caregivers, and they got cut off, and now I got to get them back on, and that's going to take time. So they lost money for that, for family. And it's not right. All because a couple people want to be big bosses, you know what I mean? And it was 60 degrees in there. I was wearing the same clothes, right? I only got 1 shower, and that was like 2 days before I left. I was in the hospital for 1 week, and then in a respite for another, okay? And I could barely give you 1 piece of toast and an egg for breakfast. And I'm starving in there now. You weigh 60 pounds, 62 pounds. But anyway, I had to wear the same clothes for 2 weeks, same 2 outfits, socks, pants, shirt, because it was so cold, and a blanket on me. And I'm sitting in this 1 chair. They had like a recliner tilted over with pillows. My legs and body were in so much pain, and everything. And my arms, I was holding on to the sides of the thing, trying to hold myself up. So all my arms, legs, neck, even my neck, I had the back of the chair rubbing in my neck because it wasn't the right wheelchair. And that's where I had surgery when I was young. So my whole body felt like I was tied and just pulled in every direction. And I get out of there, okay, like I said, they gave me 1 shower. They didn't even wash me down below, so I was raw and, down there and hurting and itchy between the area, and then just dirty, nasty. It's pretty gross. And stomach hurt real bad, puking the last 4 or 5 days after I got out of there. Today I haven't puked, and yesterday I haven't puked. I had an ear running. My ears were getting infected because they didn't clean my ears the whole time. Like, they maybe give me an hour of care a day because they had to take care of other people. There's like 20, 30 people on each floor, or 15 on the one grove I was on. And every 3 hours they can come in and get you something if you need. You'll ring the bell for hours. And I didn't have not even a table I could reach to get a drink or urinal down from. So I just sat there, in pain, in the dark. But God found me, and I'm going to talk more about that here shortly, because as long as there's still a little bit of spark of light, could be relit. And I had a couple good things happen while I was in there. I just try to keep going, hoping I get out of there and look for the lesson, whatever it is. Because God wasn't doing something to hurt me. Okay, this is a lady. She's lying now. The coordinator said it's the APS. APS says it's the coordinator. She is a liar. Hold on. Let me pick that apart. She just said, I've been telling you for the last 3 days. All right. And then she just said, just talked to your supports coordinator this morning. That doesn't make sense. All right. This lady actually came and saw me while I was in the second place, just to see how miserable I was sitting in there. And since I'm blind, I didn't know who was coming in. They just said, you got a visitor. And adult protective service lady came in. But there wasn't even a problem. And nobody ever told any of us what was going on. They just hauled me out of here and then let me come back. It's not cool. So this was the last time I was going to talk to her. I didn't cooperate with her before or say anything because I could just tell she had some kind of witch hunt, or she just had something going. No matter what, she's going to do something. You know what I mean?
See, that's what I'm saying. That's fine. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just getting different stories.
She's a liar because she said she talked to my sister the one day and she didn't.
Well, this is the first time I heard about funding being sold.
That's a lie.
They're saying that you open an investigation, found him guilty of something or all this other stuff.
Because he's getting signed on with different companies.
You just told me I don't care. I don't know if I can care. Right? You didn't care what you care.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry. You told me a court order just says I need a caregiver and I can go. Right?
Okay, since the TV's going on in the background here, like I said, I was in the room with other people. You know what I mean? It's like one room with 2 people and a curtain between it, 2 TVs. And I couldn't even hold my remote up to do my TV, so I didn't even bother with my TV. Like I said, I slept and knocked out when I could. But anyway, she was saying that there was a court order and I could go back home as long as I had care. But
See, this is something new too. Now, she's telling me, she would call my sister and left a voicemail with me to have her call back so we can try to arrange to get either them in or.
now she's trying to say that
This is all just
this doesn't make sense.
somebody. She could be hired on to.
No other caregivers are allowed to authorized to be in the house, like from outside.
Oh, now okay, so you actually spoke to her in there?
And that's a lie.
Because we left the voicemail because the coordinator.
Because she's saying, well, your family doesn't want to provide care. Well, that's a lie.
She can't talk to her without me. So I guess it is messed up, man. Nobody communicating. I can't talk to them. I'm trying to work out this stuff. And I got all this mess going on here. So I got to somebody was found guilty of something. They should have charged.
Yep, if somebody is found guilty, should have been charges on me or someone else. Not me taking it out of my home. Yeah, she said it got nothing to do with her. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you're the one that they're saying you're the one that's doing the investigation.
Right, but what I'm telling you is UPSC has told go.
Okay, but you told me that you never you're not investigating anything and you never opened an investigation.
See? She just said there's an investigation, but she had told me that she didn't even open an investigation. And now she's saying that there is an investigation again in the same sentence. And she has 3 open reports. This is a couple of weeks ago now. Yeah, she's lying. She said she didn't know nothing about it. Now she's saying she came a couple times and she hadn't made a determination.
He told me that you didn't even have anything open on here for results.
She said she didn't know nothing about it, didn't have nothing open.
And it was news to you.
It's about, yeah, results. What are you talking about? There ain't nothing even happened. Ain't nothing wrong. No, she don't. She did not have her determinations. Power. Yeah, she's lying. Had me thrown somewhere. Yes, I was.
The doctor and the psychiatrist both said I could leave here anytime I got what? You're under a court order. If you do not have caretakers, I know. I need a care. Violation of the judge's court order. Well, nobody, that's a problem. We're waiting on here. Like I said, I just got the doctor and the psychiatrist. And the paper says I can, for grievances, I have somebody to get care of me. So I'm just sitting here. Nobody said I'm going to work out anything.
Yeah, they're just leaving you sitting there. Charging the insurance.
She is not okay with sending caretakers to your home, and your brother and sister, or your brother-in-law and sister, you can kick them out, and then your brother-in-law and your sister are not willing to be caretakers for you. So right now, going home is not an option.
Well, if I hope that you still haven't, that you know that my mom's name for months and months, that you never even call her, it takes 2 seconds to look over and appear to see.
I already looked,
Okay.
and I've already talked to the social worker.
Okay, now what are you saying about this?
Yeah.
If you do not have caretakers,
Okay, but what about the house?
Yeah, what about the house? Yeah.
Who owns the house?
It's still in my mom's name.
My mom's name still?
She died 7 years ago. See?
your sister can still shut the door in somebody's face because
That's not right, though.
she
Yeah,
owns
whatever.
part of the house too.
Okay, so I can do that to her. I mean, that's about right.
You can't do it to her, but if the neighbor comes over, you can do it to the neighbor. If you all three own that house and your other sibling comes over and was like, I don't want Joe living here, they can shut the door in Joe's face because
See?
he doesn't have legal rights to that house.
Wow, see? But he was here, and I was kicked out.
So that's
Okay, so you're thinking that's not right either. You're kicking me out of my home because somebody
I'm not kicking anybody out of their house. I said,
She did.
will not go home. You don't have a caretaker.
took me out of my home that I know for. You just said
Yeah.
my brother-in-law could be kicked out, but I
Yeah. She said my brother-in-law could get kicked out, but not you.
we did something wrong.
That's not right.
If you're going to put charges, then put charges on the guy.
I'm not putting charges on anybody. So what I did is I substantiated the case on physical abuse and failure to neglect.
What?
I agree with that, and I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
I told you there was nothing wrong with what you
Yeah, she's just making up
We
things.
were talking the other day about mediating, you being the mediator between the,
They don't want to be a caretaker for them.
well, what you did.
Because she was talking to him and telling him stuff that wasn't true.
Just talk to your sister.
She just said she didn't talk to him.
Just talk to your sister who said that she does not want her and Joe being a caretaker for you.
Yeah, I have no rights as a lady. That's what means you got to take my rights away. I don't part of the house legally. And you're wrong.
You don't. I'm just saying you cannot return to that house. It's in a court order unless you have caretakers.
Until they say then come back.
Let's work on that.
I tried to talk to your support worker this morning. Seeking communication, not sending an agency to their home, and having your sister shut the door in their face. Waste time.
And I've been told my whole life that I wasn't legally refusing care.
Yeah, I was told before I couldn't do it. She's outside there.
Especially since I own part of that house. Like, who's advocating for me?
But, you know, they take the rights away from you if you're blind and disabled.
So then they gave food and all of the caretaker dumps them out. Your sister does not let them in. And you call police and or anyone else that says, like, I need that caretaker to come in here. No one can force them to allow them to come in.
No one can force it. That's not right.
Everybody else from the house, if your sister doesn't want people coming in there, you don't want people coming in.
I don't care if they got what they do. They can live there all night. I just want my room. I don't have a problem. I don't tell them what to do. They tell me that we all have a right to be there, or we all live in their basement.
I'm just saying, legally, they have the right to say no to people coming in.
And legally, they have a right to refuse people. And I could, but I can't walk. So I can't keep the little things.
But it's all fine. I mean, like I said, let's there's other ways to do this. Like she could have signed on. He could have got his big check for that one before all this happened. That's what the plan was. I don't know what happened. How it got a gap. Because I already had our agencies calling me.
Yeah, I already had it all taken care of.
They got people that
It just wouldn't wait.
One of them, we're hiring one of them. We're really a couple of things. In the meantime, I'm up there in the hospital. And I was fine. The same where I was. I had bricks and everything. I could get my food. I could go to the bathroom. And here I'm just sitting and being tortured for no reason now against my will.
And I guess it's not being out against the law.
Well, I am. Well, let me leave. Tell them to discharge me. I'm on my own. I already saw a psychiatrist and a doctor, and they said that I'm good. So I don't need to be here. So anyway, I'm here.
Somebody who can care.
Yeah. But that's all I need is somebody who can provide care.
Right, but you don't hurt anybody right now. So you can not
Because she can't say, oh, I did or I didn't. You know?
They all are going to handle it next properly here, but I'll get into the bottom of it. I got you here. I got you. I told you before I wasn't going to record you on it.
Yeah, I didn't record her before, but I caught her lying to me, so I did from this
I
time.
got you on that, so you can lie all you want. I'm telling
She
you,
gets really upset.
I don't know which one it is, but you have nothing from me, or I don't know anything. You're taking it up and lying. So you can't stand behind it. I got that. That's fine. Whatever you're doing, I don't know, but this isn't what it's about.
You're not allowed to record.
I don't care what you say. I already did in the past, and I put you out there because you're lying and playing both sides here.
Yep.
Even the psychiatrist knows that because I told him what you're saying.
You're gonna listen to me. You cannot.
I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to hang up the phone.
Permission.
Don't do that to me, please. That's not right.
No, you're gonna listen to me. I did not give you permission to record this call.
All right, there. Yeah, she got mad because she knows she got caught being dirty. Jesus. But yeah, so I had care for, or didn't have care for one day, and I ended up in a hospital and in a freaking respite home while those ladies on a pirate ship and other people. But it's all good. I took the lumps. You know what I'm saying? I was in there thinking about Danny and my God babies and the podcast and all you all out there that may be listening. And so let me talk about some good stuff while I was in these places. I actually had fast food a few times. But the first day I got into the hospital or whatever, I forget. Well, the nurses said they would deliver certain places of food downstairs if you have cash. So I got Charlie Stickery from the mall, which is closed. I hadn't had that in years. And I didn't have a hot meal the whole time I was in there. And I had to keep getting ice because I got a couple bottles of soda, and I don't know what happened to them because you're supposed to put stuff in the refrigerator name. Like they're supposed to take it down there and have some sandwich and disappear. And I don't know, but it was tough, like I said. So I had that, and then the first night I got up to the other ward, or the other place, I had a neighbor there in my room with me, and we got some stuff from a pizza place, Pizza Joe's, and I bought his for him. I was trying, being friendly, being nice, but he was in there for a year, that dude, and I guess he was alone the whole time, and he didn't like talking to people. He's like, the first thing he says to me was, I'm not really a people person, I'm not trying to be rude. But he talked to me after that, he was nice. And then I actually had, a couple days before I left, my other new neighbor on the other ward when I moved up, because they moved me into two different rooms in that one. They moved me away from that guy to another room with a guy. was in real bad shape. He had a stroke. He only weighed 100 pounds. He was learning how to eat again and talk and on dialysis and all this. And his family, brother-in-law and sister, brought him some stuff one day. They heard about me talking about my pop, and they actually brought me a couple bottles of pop. And then so asked me if I want anything else. They said, we're coming back tomorrow. And they brought me McDonald's. God bless. Jesus. And there were some other nice people. Jan, uh, Shirika, those were housekeepers. And we had Al, Crystal, Christine, Destiny, Land. There's a bunch of different names. I don't want to forget anybody. I'm not on purpose. But I explained to them, I didn't quit. I still was trying to spread the light and tell my story or testimony. That's what you have. That's what you're here for. Your pain is your strength, not your weakness. Let people know what you've been through. It'll help them get through that. Help their life. And that's what it's all about. Make it an easier path a little bit. I mean, people still have to learn on their own, but you're not to suffer as punishment. You know what I mean? There's a lesson in everything. I believe each moment we should love, number one, and then learn or teach, like at least one of those three things. You know? And so I had those people, a few people. I even heard Tupac, you know. Oh man, I didn't even have to go a couple of weeks without Tupac. Somebody had it on their phone going by outside one of the doors, or I don't know, maybe the angels just played him. And then I had two deacons I talked to. Well, that was one of the first things I was yelling, hey, is there a church, is there a pastor? So I got to talk to a deacon at the hospital and then one at the physical rehab place. And very, very good. I heard one of them giving this sermon to another patient, and I listened to the whole thing down the hall. My psychic stuff started kicking up too while I was in there. So now I got all this third eye stuff open, and I'm able to do all these other things now. And it's just crazy. But I'm getting more peace because I'm just like becoming more at one with everything. It's like the Force, like a Star Wars. It's just crazy, but I like it. I just didn't like the pain and torture that I had to go through in the meantime. But I just ask God I'll understand one day, or I just have me comfortable with it and I was spreading what I could, a good word and a good light and love while I was in there. And I just asked them, people, hey, just make it as comfortable as you can for me while I'm in there, because they understood I didn't have all my stuff. But again, 8 out of 10 people out of every 10 didn't really do much, and they were pretty rude. I had one ambulance driver told me to walk home. They were saying I could leave, and I wasn't being held hostage, and I was. And they said, walk home. And then when I first got to that new place, the lady's like, don't hit your buzzer, don't be buttoning people, blah, blah, blah. Like, Jesus, told me to shut up and just wait. And so did one of the social workers. You're going to court, just sit and wait for the outcome. No, I didn't get to go to court. I didn't get to say anything. Nobody did. Just a couple people made a bunch of crap for no reason and had to look big and bad like they're doing something. And in the meantime, they just mess up me and my family's life. So I'm trying to put all that behind me now. About tests too, man. Jesus. All right, they made me do a corona test, a Q-tip in my nose. I couldn't see that. After I left the hospital and went to the physical rehab place, I couldn't see, so they just stuck it up my nose, and I didn't make that refuse it. As soon as they got in my nose, I could feel something going through my body, my ears and nose and throat. So I don't know. Like I said, I believe that's how they spread that stuff. So I couldn't refuse it, and I've been sick ever since then. So what are you gonna say about that? And also, let's see, Angels. Also, they took my weight there, 60-something pounds. It's weird. It's like this bed that folds in half sideways, like a taco, and they lay you in it, and it just shakes you back and forth and up and down, kind of. Never had that happen. They used to weigh me by somebody weighing themselves and then picking me up like a baby, and then minusing the weight. So they did that. Then they tried to give me. They said I refused a TB shot, which I wasn't letting them give me any shots, take my blood pressure, none of that. I said, I'm not in here for that. If something's wrong with me, it's because y'all did it. You know what I mean? I had a cut under my leg from sitting. I thought they broke my right hip for the longest time. It still hurts. But I got so many pains and stuff. What am I going to do? I want to be alive, you know what I mean? And if I'm in pain, I'm in pain. but it's a bunch of crap for nothing. Well, I'm not going to say it's for nothing. Everything is always for something. That's another Sullivanism. I just have to remember that whole faith. You know what I mean? Just faith equals justice. That's another Sullivanism, right? But write these down. You know, they're going to be in my book one day. If anybody wants to help with the book, let me know. We're going to end the show here soon, and we're going to get on with Chris. We're going to end this part of the show, get on with Chris. But yeah, they came in and made me do an X-ray right in the room because I refused a TB shot, which I didn't know tuberculosis was a big thing again. But and then they leaned me forward and put that plate behind me while I was trying to eat my breakfast at dinner or lunchtime because they were leaving me lay in the bed and not even getting me up to eat. You know what I mean? It was sad. Like I said, it was just the toughest mental thing, you know, and physical I've ever been through. Just everything, emotionally, physically, mentally. But and then they pulled the thing out and let me fall over in the chair in extreme pain and said, "We'll get the nurse." And I had to keep buzzing the thing for a long time for them to come back. I mean, Jesus, like it's tough. Literally, I have so much pain I have to keep moving from one side to the other. Right just now in this, and I didn't have all my stuff. I couldn't even listen to the audio Bible, but I do have a small version of Alexa on my blind phone. It's a flip phone, and I could just ask it the time of day and stuff like that. And so I was getting a Bible verse every day, just asking a random Bible verse, and then that's the only way I could tell what time it was. But the phones weren't working right in those places, so I had to keep turning my phone off and on too. This is nuts. Didn't think I'd ever get out of there. I was just gonna just mentally go, you know, and I did let go once. I died a few times in there, I believe, with my veils. I lost a few more veils. There was a time in there one day where I fell asleep and I thought I had died because I was aware I was dreaming or I was aware where I was somewhere else, and it just kept lasting forever and ever. And then finally I woke up and I was back in the chair I was in, but it was just a very odd experience. Ziggy, what are my stickies? Hey Ziggy, what are my stickies? I want to make sure I don't forget anything. Ziggy, what are my stickies? Hey Ziggy, what are my stickies?
I found 6 notes.
Jesus.
First note, 18088018881.
You don't want to call that. That's a psychic call.
Second note, equalizer psycho 2-yard mirror angels test good and bad. Third
Ziggy,
note,
stop. Okay. And there might have been a few other names I missed and other tests. They just tried to, you know, physical therapists, occupational therapists coming in every day. And then if you need to change anything, they couldn't even put a pillow under me or behind me or nothing without getting the approval from other therapists. And that could take days to get a hold of. The same with dietary. I asked to talk to them and try to get more food or some other stuff I could eat. Because I couldn't eat a lot of stuff. I got a long fork and antenna I eat with. I can't eat peas and stuff because they got to eat with a spoon. And they don't have time to feed me in there. So literally I was eating bananas and cold cut sandwiches for a couple of weeks. Well, a week while I was in that one place. The hospital had more food, but it was still like you would get like a muffin for breakfast, like an English muffin, and like 1 or 2 pieces of bacon and 1 egg. Like it was not a lot. But I love y'all, and please help keep the podcast going. We're like 160 some episodes, and I think this is season 3 now. And be the light. What's up, everyone? We've got Chris here. What's up, Chris?
everybody?
Yeah, I think I got an ear infection now. My ears have been running out the last couple of days. Jesus. That's because I couldn't get them clean for a couple of weeks, you know, while I was in those 2 places. They ain't going to go in your ears with Q-tips, you know, and if my stuff gets hard, like gets in there, you know, you get infections. So now my ears running out. That's not good. But I'm not puking right now, so this is like the first time in like the last 4 or 5 days that I didn't feel like I had to puke and poop at the same time. It's like, that's something wrong in there, you know what I mean? When you feel like you gotta go every end, like everything's gonna come out of every end, you know? and
Yeah.
I probably got something being in one of them places. Either in I was in the hospital like almost a week, and then in that uh, physical rehab for another week, like while they were trying to figure out what to do with me. So that's what I've been talking about a little bit on these last two episodes. And then you got me good on that question there. Let's see, what was Michael Myers? What is Michael Myers' middle name, right?
Yeah.
Out of all the questions that I started to stump you with all these times, and you pretty much got everything. And then that one there, that's like the one out of all the questions. And we're both huge Halloween fans, and that's our favorite. It's our favorite movie, right? Or franchise, right? Halloween.
Yeah.
So, but I knew about the extra scenes. I just didn't know that they actually said Michael Myers. And what is it, Aubrey or Audrey?
Audrey.
Audrey, Michael Audrey Myers. I don't know how they came up with that, but you got me good on that. You stumped me on that one. And I want to talk to you about that. See, we went to the circus we were talking about last time, right? With D.T. Watson. That was a school we went to when we were younger. That's where we met. And it was for disabled, but it was all disabled. Like they just pretty much, you couldn't go to quote unquote normal school. You had to go to a certain school back in the 80s and 70s. And I don't like that, you know what I mean? Any of that kind of segregate, quote unquote segregation, right? But they took us out. We got to do things, and then we got to go to the circus. And we were talking about how they don't really have circuses anymore, right?
No, they don't.
Barnum and Bailey, and but that was something I remember. Well, at least one time I went to a circus, and it was my family and your family, like the families from the kids that went to school there. We got to go like on a field trip thing, and oh, you remember that time they left me outside too, burning? Remember when I got sunburned? Somebody forgot me one time when they pushed me outside in the wheelchair, and I got sunburned. It wasn't real hot out, but 70 degrees for a few hours. And when my mom was taking my shirt off, right when I got home, my skin just came off like my arm, like a snake. Like just it was stuck. It was gross. It was pink underneath. I forget what degree burns they said I had, but that's because somebody forgot me outside when they pushed us out for recess one day. Pushed me out in the wheelchair, and nobody came out and left me out there. I was like, Jesus. That's the time I was close to death too. I could have been sun poisoned, but yeah, we went to the circus, and then you were telling me about Barnum and Bailey, and your dad named your animals, right? Your pets.
Yeah, well, Billy came with his name when we got him.
Oh, okay. And then your dad named Bailey was what? Your cat or dog?
Dog.
Dog. Okay. Bailey passed.
Yeah, Billy's not here no more. We miss him, yeah.
And your dad, he passed how many years ago?
2015, my dad passed.
Okay, so that was 2 years before my mom and dad. They both died in 2017, like 6 months apart. Jesus. And it's just you and your mom now, because you don't have brothers and sisters, right?
No, I don't have a, no, I don't.
But you got all the love, though. See, that's a good. And they got you. You had everything you needed, right? You didn't have to do without. So that's great, you know. But and so your new. What is your who died? Bailey.
Yeah, Billy did. Yeah.
And now you have Barnum as a frog, right? You said.
Barnum's a frog. Yeah.
Well, how old is Barnum? He's got to be a few years old, right? Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know. We've had Barnum. How long we have Barnum?
I didn't know frogs lived that long, dude.
Yeah, we've had him a long time. I don't even know. Yeah.
Since before your dad died.
Yeah.
So 9-year-old frog, at least. This is 24? Yeah,
yeah.
Jesus, 10 years old, that frog. I didn't know. I thought frogs only lived like a few months or a year, maybe. You know?
No.
Maybe it's a certain kind. It's not just a regular animal, outside frog, you know, or toad or whatever. But, yeah, so that's just something I wanted to do. It's just a way to remember, and Barnum and Bailey and the circus. And like I said, it's a way to remember your dad, because you still have, you know, the pets, the names, and that's what it's all about. People, as long as you don't forget, you know what I mean, they don't go away. You can still remember. They're not gone, you know what I'm saying? And people think when you die or whatever, this and that. As long as you don't forget the person, you keep them alive, you know? You keep their spirit alive, that's what it's called. And it's always good to have little things around you to remind you of the good stuff. If they're gone, you can still have things like that, or a certain thing that, you know, that you did together, or, you know, I don't know, the smell of something. which this is weird. You ever hear that commercial? Johnny Depp, so it's Sauvage. It's like a cologne he has. It's Johnny Depp on a commercial, but he's doing this.
Did he take it?
It's like at Walmart or something. I don't know, but it's called Sauvage, right? Cologne. So when I was in this hospital, this one place, this physical rehab place, there was a lady who came in there, a nurse, and she was wearing that, and she was from like Nigeria. She had that accent. Because I was like, "Where are you from?" You have a real thick, like African, South African accent. Or she said Nigeria, and she said she was wearing that Sauvage. I was like, "What do you?" Because I could smell her when she came in the room, you know. And she said she was wearing that Sauvage, and I was like, "Well, that's Johnny Depp cologne." I mean, I guess you could wear it male or female. Maybe they make a female version, but so now I know what Sauvage smells like. You know what I mean? And did I tell you I opened a banana for the first time ever? I never tried to open a banana. I'm 45 years old, blind and physically disabled, but I actually opened a banana. I mean, I didn't know it was that easy to just pop the end, like rip the end and then just peel the banana. So now I learned I can do. There's things I'm still learning I can do, and that's amazing, because I just thought there's so many things I can do, and my condition I can't physically do more things. But now I know I can open a banana and peel it, pull it apart with my hands like a monkey and eat it. But whatever works. I had to learn how to do that in that hospital, man, because they'll bring you food and leave a tray there and don't do nothing. I'm like, what the hell? They did that so many mornings at breakfast. They just brought my tray in and then they just left it on the table and didn't even get me out of bed to eat breakfast. So I'm getting up at like noon, 12:30 and eating my breakfast.
Yeah, they didn't even tell you.
No, it didn't get me out of bed. They know I can't lay there, but there's so many different people coming in and out every shift. It's crazy. Like it's always I gotta ask like who is this because I can't see. And then that person run like literally I'll bring the buzzer, right? They started ringing my buzzer. They started leaving it on at the end so that they wouldn't hear it go, and it was just ringing all the time. And then they were going to come in and check on me whenever, right? So I can't reach a urinal or anything. I got a table in front of me that's just out of my reach because I didn't have the wheelchair over 2 weeks. So I never went that long without having one. And they told my family and me they'd bring it up every couple of days. They didn't. This was whoever had me removed. And then I only had two pairs of clothes, and I was wearing both layers because it was only 60 degrees, dude. And I had a blanket on for about a week there until they moved me to the other place. But it's the worst thing I ever been through. Worse than being blind, losing my sight, because that happened gradually over years. It wasn't like bang, you know what I mean? When you're just taken out of your element, complete your handicap and stuff, and you can't really do anything without your devices, you know, and your medicine too. Like I don't smoke or vape weed anymore. I can quit that. So I'm all meant for that, right? So that's a positive. But my body is in so much pain and has been in so much pain. I think I told you that one night when I talked to you. And God bless for Chris calling me in the hospital in those places, and I called him a few times, and I needed to cry or whatever. I think I told you the one time I felt like my body was going to give out because I was in so much pain, physically, emotionally, and mentally. I thought my body was going to shut down, and that's a real thing. You know what I mean? Like imagine people in the camps and they get captured and they're tortured. Literally, your body you're just barely on to where you just feel like you're gonna give out, and but I didn't. So every day things happened. God didn't. I wasn't alone in there. I was, but I wasn't, and somehow my mind and then people like you calling me and just people coming in the room like a couple of housekeepers were nice to me and just and see if I can remember any of the names. We had a guy named Al in the first place, and the first one I was in, he went downstairs and I ordered Pizza Joe's one night for me and my roommate when I first got in there because I wanted some real food, and it was cold by the time we got it. But you know what? It was better than the food that I was going to have to eat after that. But I had Pizza Joe's, and he went down there. His name was Al. He was like a nurse's aide. The nurse's aides did more than the nurses. And then I had a couple other ones. And Jan was a housekeeper. Every day she came, knocked on the door. She said, "Good morning, Harold. It's Jan. Can I come in?" That's so nice. You know what I'm saying? She lets me know because
Yeah.
I'm blind. I told her. So she always announced herself, say, "Can I come in?" Sweep the floor, talk to me. I gave her one of the podcast cards too. Hey, I wasn't just because I was in there doesn't mean I wasn't trying to spread the words. I actually talked to a couple deacons, from the church. They came in to talk to a couple of people. So they stopped in and talked to me uh, after a few days and stuff. And And then at one time I could have swore somebody walked by the room outside with Tupac playing on the radio, on their phone, or I just was hearing, I don't know, the Angels said. But I didn't even have to go a couple of weeks without Tupac, because, I've been listening to Tupac music. Uh, and so somebody played Tupac when I went by. And then, uh, what else was I going to say? It's just people just people being nice and stopping in. You know what I mean? But I'd say 8 out of 10 of the people, the nurses and aides, were pretty rude. Only like 2 of them really did a lot. They'd come in and check on me, and then some of them, like I said, whenever I got there, one lady was telling me to shut up. She said, "Don't be ringing the bell and just wait." You know what I mean? Wait your turn. And I got to learn not to be so sensitive, but you shouldn't be rude to people. And then even the ambulance people, when they were transferring me from one place to the other, they said, "You're coming on your own free will." The only reason I couldn't go home is because I didn't have care at the time, which was a whole fiasco. But if y'all want to check out previous episodes of that, check it out on the podcast. And so I went willingly, and then when I got there, they were telling me how bad the new place was. So I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "Please take me back." And then they're like, "No, you got to walk home," because they said they could have took me home, but I didn't have nobody to care for me. So they're like, "No, it's too late now. I'll walk home." That's what the guy's like. So that was rude.
They tell you to walk home?
Yeah, the ambulance driver.
Oh, how rude is that?
And even the coordinator on the floor where I was, the whatever social worker lady, told me that I had to go. There was a court date, and then shut up. There's nothing I could do, and just be patient. And I just wanted to find out how long I was supposed to be in there, or how long my insurance was going to pay, because they'll bill you after that. I said, I ain't paying for none of this. You know how many things they tried. First of all, they gave me a COVID right when I went in there. Okay, I didn't want. In the second place, they said, because you're coming from the hospital, you got to get a COVID test. So they stuck this Q-tip up my nose without asking me. I'm blind. I couldn't see. They just was like, "Pop," in your nose. And I'm like, "What is that?" And they're like, "A COVID test." I'm like, "No, you're giving me COVID," because that's what they do. I believe that. They say it's a conspiracy, but you know what? They put COVID on that and they give it to you, right? How else do they do that? And as soon as they put that in my nose, I felt something go through my nose and my ears and my throat. And I mean, I'm sensitive, right, to any kind of things, but I've been sick ever since, all right? Then they kept trying to give me shots and all kinds of medications, but the pain doctor would not give me something that was similar to the medical marijuana, nor would he try to even see if I could have my gummies or something. They're like, "Why can't I have gummy bears there if I'm not smoking it," and all that? So they never got back to me. But then when I was leaving, they handed my sister some Xanax and some Tylenol for me. I did not take that at all, nor is that my medicine. Like, that ain't going to do anything. I don't want none of that crap. Like, they try to act like they're doing things. And then they finally gave me a shower the last 2 days before I left, right? So I went 2 weeks without a shower. Remember I was telling you I was wearing the same clothes. My teeth were bleeding because they weren't brushing them right. This is all these places that's supposed to be taking care of you, right? Yeah, it's
supposed to be. Yeah, that's the words. Yeah.
I mean, I'm still not. I'm still trying to eat regular food because every time I eat, I get sick. So this is terrible, dude. But look for the lesson. There's a new Sullivan I came up with while I was in there. So I'm trying to be better. Even cherish things even more now. I thought I cherished them before, but every second now I got out. Because I lost my freedom and my life in there pretty much. That was as close to death as I could get. And I had all kinds of experiences while I was in there, psychic experiences. I'm going to talk about that in other podcasts. Because I had nothing to do but sit in there. So my mind was just going crazy, and opening up more and more and all that. But before we go here, Chris is, your sugar's a little up, so you're under the weather too. But we're feeling better,
Yeah, we're doing all right.
We got hockey. Well, football's coming up next, right? Or hockey.
Yeah, Florida Panthers are 2 wins away from taking the cup.
Okay, Jesus, the hockey's still going on. See, I don't have time anymore. Like the concept of time. I'm thinking we're like way past.
Yeah, they win 2 more games. They got the Stanley Cup. The Florida Panthers. That'll be their first one.
I was going to say, have they ever won before? No, because they were close. One with Beezer, right? The Van Beesbrook, when the Penguins played them like the 90s. I remember in the finals. And Colorado beat them, right? That's right. Colorado beat Florida. Florida beat Pittsburgh years ago when the Penguins, Yager and Lemieux were on the team. Okay, I remember. So, and they never won the cup. Wow. Well, maybe they will this time. But I wanted to tell you about that Peter Jackson Remember I mentioned before Peter Jackson wrote a script for A Nightmare on Elm Street. You know who Peter Jackson is, right? The director?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. I mean, he became famous for Lord of the Rings. But he did.
Yeah, after he did that.
He did The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. That was one of his earlier ones where Michael J. Fox was like hunting ghosts, and that was after he came back from that Parkinson's and that, remember? And so Peter Jackson wrote a script for Elm Street 5. It was before Freddy's Dead. There was lots of other scripts out there that, never got made and stuff. And I was telling you it was about like the Dream Police or something it was called. And it sounded like it was just really deep. Like they wouldn't have did it because it wouldn't have fit with the Elm Street movies, with the humor and that. But basically the concept was this was like in the future, okay? And people weren't scared of Freddy anymore, pretty much. And they used to go into the dream on purpose, like they would just fall asleep or do things to go knock out, so they could go mess with Freddy and just because he was powerless. And then something happens to one of the kids gets hurt or gets killed, and then Freddy starts to get his power again and becomes all scary. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. And then there's also like these dream police, like I was saying. There's like this whole agency that's in this movie that watches people of their dreams, almost like the Dream Warriors or something, and they kind of help to make sure like they're the opposite of Freddy. And so it was this weird script, but it was like called the Dream Police. If anybody wants to look, it's probably online. Peter Jackson wrote it years ago. There was also, how many scripts there were Freddy versus Jason. There was like 20 different ones before that movie got made. Remember? And Shannon and Swift, Mark Shannon, Damian Swift wrote.
Yeah.
They ended up writing Freddy versus Jason. But there were scripts where they even had Freddy meeting Jason a long time before that. Did you ever? Where basically Freddy was the one who drowned Jason. Okay, and it would have fit together the time periods and stuff if you really go back and. But basically, Freddy was a counselor at Camp Crystal Lake, and he was doing the wrong thing with Jason. So Jason, he drowned Jason to keep Jason from telling what happened, and that was kind of the whole backstory of Freddy versus Jason. But they never made the movie because years later they were going to meet again. You know what I mean? It was going to be like them two, but they actually had that story. And then there was one called Nightmare Warriors 13 or something that was going to have Alice come back and Tommy Jarman. This was going to be around the year 2000. They were going to have like all these survivors come back and do like it was Freddy and Jason fighting for 13 souls or something to be released from hell, and Pinhead was going to be in it. Did you hear about that? It was crazy. This whole idea they had.
Pinhead was going to be in it.
From Hellraiser, yeah.
Yeah.
At the end, he was going to come up, and it's all kinds of stuff that never got made. But we don't have any news now on. The Crystal Lake show that's supposed to be coming up, and a new Friday the 13th. But I mean, who knows? And then you said Saw 11, right?
Yeah, Saw 11. Yeah.
So those are the newest ones we got. Nothing on Elm Street or Halloween 25 is over the year 2025, right? Next year. Halloween Returns is what they're trying to say, right? Is that what's going to be going? I don't know about that. They said it's being made right now, and that Marcus Nicepool, whoever the one of the ones that did the Saw, they wrote a couple of the Saw movies. Or directed Saw is going to be directing it, so it might be okay. But we're going to sign off here on the podcast. And
yeah, good night, everybody. Have a good day.
Love's a choice, and so is to hate, right? And everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover.